Okay, so let's just dive right in. If you've been on social media at all lately, you've definitely seen it. We're talking about manifestation, the law of assumption, and all those wallpapers that promise to bring you love, money, whatever you want. It feels so now, right? So modern, so digital. But what if I told you the secret behind all of it is actually thousands of years old? You've probably seen this phrase, or something like it, a million times. It's really the heart of what people are practicing online. The idea is simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. Your deepest beliefs don't just, influence your reality. They literally create it.
So is this just a new wellness fad that some influencers dreamed up, or is there something more going on here? Well, in this explainer, we're going to trace this idea all the way back. We're going to follow the thread from your phone screen to its surprisingly ancient roots.
First up, let's just look at how this whole thing shows up in our world right now, because it's completely tangled up with our digital lives, turning the one device we use all day into this tool for personal transformation.
I mean, think about it. Your phone's background is one of the first things you see when you wake up, and the last thing you see before you go to sleep. So people are using these affirmation wallpapers, these energy charging backgrounds, and motivational lock screens to constantly, and I mean constantly, reprogram their subconscious. It's like a 24/7 feedback loop for your desired life.
And there's a really clear method being shared online. It's not just wishful thinking. There's a whole step-by-step process. You have to decide exactly what you want, assume you already have it, and then, this is key, you live from that feeling, from that end state. You repeat this new story over and over until it just feels totally normal.
Okay, so this whole system feels very 21st century. But get this, the guy who made this specific law of assumption famous, he was writing and lecturing about it almost 100 years ago.
His name was Neville Goddard. He was this hugely influential writer in the mid-20th century, part of the New Thought movement. And his take on these ideas is basically the foundation for almost everything we're seeing on social media today.
This quote pretty much sums up his entire teaching. For Neville, it was all about the feeling. You don't just think a happy thought. You have to actually feel the emotions of already having your desire. And then you have to stick with that feeling. You persist in it, no matter what your current reality looks like.
But wait, because the story doesn't start with Neville. The plot thickens, right? Because even Neville had a teacher. And this is a part of the history that honestly a lot of people just skip right over.
His name was Abdullah. He was this incredibly brilliant and kind of mysterious black mystic living in New York City back in the 1930s. And he was a master of ancient traditions. We're talking deep study of scripture, Jewish mysticism known as Kabbalah, and something called Hermetic philosophy.
Abdullah is the one who taught Neville the absolute core principles that would define his entire life's work. Things like, your mind isn't just part of reality, it is the only reality. And that ancient holy books were actually psychological guides on how to create. And, of course, that you must live from your wish fulfilled, without a single doubt.
But Abdullah didn't just teach Neville these lessons. He pointed him straight to the source code. He showed him a single book that held the ancient wisdom behind the whole thing.
And that book was the Kybalion. It was published way back in 1908, and it claimed to be a secret, ancient philosophy that had been passed down for thousands of years. So this philosophy is credited to this legendary figure called Hermes Trismegistus, which means Hermes the thrice great. He's this really cool blend of two gods, the Egyptian god of wisdom, Thoth, and the Greek messenger god, Hermes. So let's just quickly trace this journey. The legend is ancient, but scholars think the original Hermetic texts were written around the 2nd or 3rd century AD. They were rediscovered during the Renaissance and caused a huge stir. They kind of faded for a while, but then had a big comeback in the 19th century, which led to the Kybalion being published in 1908 to make these really big ideas accessible to everyone.
So what is this ancient wisdom, really? Well, the Kybalion breaks it all down into 7 universal laws, or principles, that are said to govern, well, everything. This is the blueprint. And here they are. You've got mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Now, they're all super fascinating, but for what we're talking about, the first 2 are absolutely crucial. They hold the key to connecting this ancient philosophy directly to your phone.
Okay, and this is where it all comes full circle. This is the fun part. We can now lay the ancient text right next to the modern trend, and you can see this direct, unbroken line through history.
Okay, first, let's take the principle of mentalism. The core idea here is that the entire universe is, at its heart, a mental creation. Everything that exists started as a thought in the mind.
Does that sound a little familiar? It should, because a super common affirmation you'll see everywhere today is, your mental state creates your circumstances. It's the exact same idea, just repackaged for the 21st century.
All right, next up, the principle of correspondence. This one is famously summed up with the phrase, as above, so below. As within, so without. It basically means that your inner world is a perfect reflection of your outer world.
And what's one of the most popular modern affirmations out there? Your beliefs shape your reality. I mean, come on, it's a direct echo. The words have changed a bit, but the concept is identical.
So, here's the real takeaway. What we think of as this new agey social media trend is actually an ancient spiritual and philosophical tradition. It's a straight line from Hermes Trismegistus to Abdullah to Neville Goddard, all the way to the thousands of posts you see on your feed today. It's all part of the same long, fascinating story.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Knowing that these ideas have been studied and practiced for nearly 2,000 years, does that change how you see that motivational lock screen or that energy-charging wallpaper on your phone? It's definitely something to think about.